be discussing two acts, on the Right to Information Act and Karnataka State Universities Act. And other states participants need not worry, because Karnataka State University Act is not something totally different from that of other universities' action. They are almost actually similar, with some certain changes here and there in the nomenclature, changes in nomenclature. I'll come to that particular point later. But you might wonder why actually professors like you need actually RTI, right? So I would like to know whether there is anybody who is an information officer in your respective institutions. Are there any information officers? No, I don't think so, right? If you happen to be the head of the department or the principal of your institution, you are an information officer under RTI and you have greater responsibilities. You might wonder, I'll tell you, this act in what way actually is helpful to the teachers. I'll tell you, it is helpful to you as a teacher, not only as a teacher, but also as an individual. How it is going to be helpful? I'll just explain that. Before that, actually, ours is a democracy that you must actually cherish and also nourish that particular concept. So in a democratic setup, if the administration is to be very clean and dynamic, we need to, in fact, actually keep a watch on all our organs which are functioning within the setup. And in order to do that, we cannot simply rely on the established institutions which take control of these functionaries. So therefore, here you must understand the entire actually citizens of that particular actually country are empowered to check whether actually each and every public servant is discharging his duty according to the law established or not. So this is one wonderful actually mechanism where it not only in fact seeks information from the government agencies, not only that, but also keeps a watch on how actually everyone is functioning. I'll just try to in fact actually explain further with objects of that. No, right to information actually is, as a citizen of any of these democratic setup, you have the right to in fact seek information from any other government departments. It is your right. It is also a fundamental right, I would say. Because the information that is there in the government is the information actually of the people who elect that particular government to discharge their duties. So, we got our independence actually in 1947, and our constitution came into being in 1950. And thereafter, we are actually, in fact, holding elections regularly. And we still actually under the impression that actually ours is a perfect, actually, democratic setup. But, as a professor, most of there are about 220 countries, and our survey says actually about roughly 100 countries actually are democracies. And democracies, in a sense, they are not actually true democracies, but they have certain actually democratic actually. For example, if Pakistan says I'm a democracy, it is up to you to believe it or not to believe it. Because most of the people think that actually Pakistan cannot be a successful democracy, because you can't actually compare Pakistan actually with Norway, Sweden, Denmark, UK, US, and all other countries, including India. Therefore, democracy is nothing but a system where people elect actually their rulers and nobody else actually does, right? That's it. So access to information, I'll tell you, is a must here, because if you want to have a responsible government, you should know what the government is doing. In order to know that, you need to have actually information what the government has, right? So therefore, the moment we actually got our Constitution 1950, we never thought that actually we need actually this kind of system where people should know it. So though Article 19(1)(a) provided actually for a free flow of information in the name of freedom of speech and expression, but so many of the people being actually not aware of this particular thing, even the courts also did not actually much consider it. But in 2005, right, prior to that, nearly in fact 50 years, more than actually 40 years, the various groups in India fought actually for freedom of information, because Constitution actually is not just sufficient to keep actually the democracy as a steadfast governance mechanism. We also need to have actually right to information. So before it came, there was no practical regime at all. So for example, this act actually came in 2005. Prior to 2005, if you ever actually approached any government department asking for some information, I don't think actually you would have got it that easily. Because there was no law, there was no procedure rather. Though Constitution actually provides for it, there was no procedure. Therefore, we had to have a law, a new law called Right to Information Act, so that actually according to that particular act, you can actually approach any particular actually government department or the public authority and seek whatever information that is to be given or shared with the public. So now it has actually become a right, not only right, though it was a right earlier. Now it is an established right with procedure. That is the first reason why RTI came into being. Secondly, in any administration, I'll tell you, transparency is a must. You are all actually working in various actually departments and institutions. You know it. The efficient administration comes into picture only when the administration is transparent. Means anything that is done actually in the department or the institution must be clearly visible to everybody who are working under that particular institution or who are actually goes to that institution for any legitimate purpose. So therefore, transparency actually is most important. So transparency, we have actually in our administrative setup actually a kind of actually channels of supervision. For example, your principal takes care actually of heads of the department. Heads of the department actually take care of the other actually faculty members. Faculty members in turn actually take care of the students. Something like that, channels actually supervision. In spite of all these things, I'll tell you, I'm sure most of you agree with me. Our administration actually is not up to the mark or up to our expectation. Therefore, this RTI actually gives such a power to the people of the country where they can actually apply to any department seeking any information that is could be given under this particular act. Either paying only 10 rupees or not paying any amount if that person actually happens to be a BPL card holder. And it has to be given to you. And if at all, if you find any inconsistency in that particular information that is given, you can certainly, in fact, seek reversal in appropriate forum, maybe in court or maybe a higher authorities, etc., etc. So, which in fact empowers every citizen of the country for a good governance. So, this is the second one: promote transparency and accountability. Thirdly, democracy actually flourishes and improves if the people actually who are in the democracy are not ignorant actually of the democratic principles. So the quality of democracy depends on the awareness level of the people. If the people of a country actually are fully aware of democratic norms and administration, their democracy will be very, very fine. If their level of actually awareness, understanding is low, your democratic actually standing should be very low. Just like actually in India, if we say, no, the other day you have been seeing in the newspaper, I'll tell you, this is the 6th day. They are still counting actually the black money that MP actually has illegally looted. 5 days, I'll tell you, our ED actually is still counting the money. And I was reading this paper, I'll tell you, 2 or 3 missions actually got stuck because of overheating. They are counting so much of money. I'll tell you, more than 300 crores. Imagine, I'll tell you, you cannot actually have such people in a democratic setup where they loot actually public money and drain the economy and deny actually the rightful actually resources to the people that is actually to be meant for. So therefore, democracy works only when the people of that particular country are well aware actually of the principles. So this act is helpful because say tomorrow when the election comes and you think that actually whom to vote, if you have any doubt, you can actually seek the information on the RTI or the candidates who are contesting of all their information, because you can't actually seek my information because I'm a private individual. If I contest actually in your constituency as a member, as a contestant, certainly I become a public personality. You have every information to know my income, my expenditure, my assets, my liabilities, and my business, what I do, everything. Because before you casting vote, you need to know. So that is possible. All these days it wasn't actually. Now, after actually this act coming into existence, you can actually filter, verify, screen the contestant and elect that person so that actually your administration will be clean. That is one thing. And lastly, this act certainly helps actually in containing corruption. So today, you see in India, this act actually came into existence in 2005. many actually public personalities have been caught. We have Lokayukta, you have CBI, you have actually ED, you have actually the anti-corruption bureaus in every state at the center, etc., etc. And every day they are actually raiding and actually arresting the people who are actually illegally garnering the money. So all these things, I'll tell you, will come to a logical conclusion only when a case is filed and tomorrow the court actually holds them responsible. And what is the kind of actually proof will you get? Under RTI, I'll tell you, you can seek all the information of his business deals, his activities, his performance actually as a public functionary. And you can use this actually as a piece of evidence tomorrow in the court of law, and as a consequence of which the person actually could be punished. These days, I'll tell you, plenty of people actually going to jail. You believe it or not, I'll tell you, it's all because of RTI. It's all because of RTI. A. Raja, who is responsible for 2G scam, to the tune of 1,76,000 crores. He was held and actually found guilty. Still, I mean, under RTI. In the absence of RTI, perhaps actually it would not have been actually possible. Now you might actually know why actually this act is so essential. That is why they call it as the second constitution of the country. This is the second constitution of the country. Then you might wonder, why is such a beautiful piece of legislation? Why did it actually take so long to become a law? In India, nothing happens actually instantly. So 1,000 years of foreign rule, more than 150 years of freedom struggle. You show me another country where actually they struggled for 150 years to get freedom. There's no country on the face of the planet actually they struggled so long to get freedom. They struggled for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years maximum. They fought, they killed, they got killed, they got independence. Ours is the only country which actually fought for independence only on non-violent methods, right? Went on and on, more than 100 years actually of fighting, right? So, in order to get the freedom for the country, it takes so much of time. In order to bring in a law, I'll tell you, is also actually equally cumbersome. It took actually a lot of time. So, for the first time actually in India, in 1997, 2 states brought this act before Government of India brought this act. One was the Tamil Nadu, the other one actually was Goa. And Tamil Nadu government actually brought for the first time in India RTI Act. And Goa government actually brought also in 1997 for the first time. You know who actually brought RTI Act actually in Tamil Nadu? Jayalalitha. And under the same act, she was caught, she was punished, and subsequently she also died because of the consequences of it, right? Look, RTI actually, is so powerful. And even Karnataka, Rajasthan, UP and all also brought actually in 2000 that, and other states brought in 2001, 3 and 2, all these. But when all states were actually bringing in this law, the central government actually thought, when the states are bringing, why should I not bring? In 2002, they brought actually was not called Freedom of Information Act, but that was actually an inherently defective law. And there are so many, in fact, defects in that. They had to, in fact, actually repeal that, and a new one central act came into existence in 2005. That is actually called Right Information Act 2005, where with 31 sections, it was notified actually 21st actually June, and October 12th of 2005, all 31 sections actually came into existence. This is the brief background. Then you might, so you are seeing my screen, no? My presentation is visible to you? Okay. Yes. No, I'm not going to discuss actually the experience, because actually do not know what the act is all about, right? Let me try to, in fact, actually give you the provisions of the act first. Then I'll try to give you what exactly and how you can use it, how you can actually generate a kind of an awareness amongst your students, and how you can also become an active person actually in upholding democratic actually values in this country. So it has got some 31 actually sections. Here all sections actually are not important ones I'm going to discuss. See, the most important and most misused aspect of information actually is the definition of information itself. If you are not very clear as to what is definition, then people will start asking everything actually as under right information. Whether you're married or not, whether you have children or not, whether you eat food or not regularly, how often you actually go to actually for tour with your family, like that. In any of these personal things actually they can ask. Therefore, the Act is very clear. It has defined actually the definition actually of right to information. Section 2F gives a very beautiful actually definition of this particular act. Look here what exactly it says. 2F, information means, because tomorrow when you become actually an information officer, if the information seeking applications come, you will have to give and respond only to those applications if the person actually seeking the application actually sought the information as defined under section 2F. So what is information? Information means any material in any form, including records, documents, memos, emails, opinions, advices, like that. There are 16 kinds of information. Go to any department. Central government actually has got some 150 actual departments. Most of the state governments will have at least less than actually 100 departments. Go to any department, they will have only 16 kinds of information. They cannot, because all the information that is there in the department have been actually classified actually within these actually 16 groups. So the person who seeks the information must only seek the information that has actually been prescribed under the Act. So 2F clearly says what is the information. And there are two kinds of information. One is self-generated. So for example, students actually take admission in your college. I might ask tomorrow how many girls are there, how many boys are there, how many BPL card holders children are there, and all this information I ask. This information I'm sure you will have got, because actually during admission you collect all this information, and by taking 10 rupees actually as application fees, and per page 2 rupees you can charge, and you'll have to give this information to me, right? This is the information that is created in your department. Say for example, if I ask actually a particular actually student's family members, and the job, what the father does and what the mother does, this information is also information which I cannot actually get it. If I go out to some house and ask, what is your father, what is your mother, how do you earn money, and all these things are absolutely private. But during admission, I'm sure you will actually have got this information. Father's actually profession, his income, mother's actually whether housewife or not, other siblings, what are the studying. This information under law, while giving admission, you take it. So what I cannot get from the candidate, I can get it actually through you in the department, because you will have collected that information from the students during the admission. So information, this is the meaning of information. Then who should give this information? This is a very important actually thing. It is called actually public authority. Whether all organizations, say for example, yours is a private college, you are not receiving any kind of government actually assistance. Are you still actually eligible to get information? I'll tell you, because public authority is an authority which is defined under 2H. Only those people are eligible to give information. Be careful. Say for example, your college actually is an unaided college. You need not give unless and until actually certain other conditions are fulfilled. Whereas yours is a government college, you are bound to give. Within 30 days you must give. Or if it is actually a grant-in-aid college, you are supposed to give actually information within 30 days. So for example, there is a nursing home actually next to your door. You want some information, how many people actually get admitted to the hospital, how many actually come for what disease, what purpose, etc., this information. I don't think actually you can get it actually from the nursing home under RTI, because nursing home actually is a private organization, right? So therefore, public authority is that authority. Look at actually what section 2H says. Public authority is that authority by under any authority which is constituted or created by the Constitution or under the Constitution. So any authority under the Constitution they have created, or by the Constitution itself it has been created, they are supposed to give the information. Secondly, any organization which is created actually by the law made by the Parliament. So for example, all central government departments, all central government authorities are made actually by a legislation passed in the Parliament. And they have come into existence actually because the law has been actually passed in the Parliament. And all of them come under RTI. Third one is law of state legislature. For example, the HRDC of Mysore. It did not simply come into existence because somebody wanted to create it. I'll tell you, this was made according to the law, passed actually in the Karnataka state legislature, and only after that it came into existence. Like that, your institution, your college, etc., they simply did not actually come into existence. Many of them actually have been created only by making a law. So therefore, so any institution which is created by law or the parliament, they are actually bound by RTI. One. Secondly, lastly, there is one more thing. What is actually called by notification? You can actually make any particular actually authority a public authority. So, for example, there is a big hospital which is a private hospital where thousands of people every day come and take treatment. And it's a private organization and RTI, you are not actually eligible to take the information. If the government actually feels that this hospital is much more popular than our government hospitals, because so many public come, they can just issue a notification, bring that particular hospital actually within 2H, making it actually as a public authority. So public authority, government can actually make any authority as a public authority if it feels that actually it is required actually by the public interest. Not only that, wherever actually the government money is spent, government control is there, it also can actually become public authority. Therefore, understand one thing, right information is applicable to all those actual organizations where there is a government control or where there is actually government money, right? And this is directly. Say, for example, in front of your house, there is a kirana shop. You want to take some information actually from the kirana shop. Can you go, if you go and actually ask under RTI the information actually from the kirana shop, I'm sure you will not actually give you. You would rather actually sell some commodity than actually giving information. So if you really want that information actually from about that particular shop or the establishment, you can approach the appropriate government authorities, commercial tax ego or corporation or municipality ego who have actually given the license, permission, etc., where all the information this shop people actually have submitted to the department. And if you want, you can actually seek it actually from the public department, not actually from the government. So if you look into it, one thing actually becomes very clear. What is that? Almost all authorities, wherever actually the government is having its power or money, directly or indirectly, right? They are all actually responsible. Okay, this is actually who is supposed to impact actually provide. Then, if you are giving actual information, you will have to give information only from the records, isn't it? Then they describe what is the record. These days, I'll tell you earlier, actually, record means one book, the big actually, books with actually all those documents, torn actually sheets, discolored actually sheets, sealed signature, etc. That was actually once upon a time the idea of actually record. But these days, actually, it has undergone some technological actually renovation. What is that? These days, actually, most of the information, say for example, your commercial tax is 100% actually computerized. Nothing actually is available actually on a piece of paper. Everything actually is computerized. So, like that, most of the departments actually are undergoing this kind of a transformation, where record not necessarily be a book or a paper or an order or a sheet. Nothing. Besides this, it is also this electronic or electronic actually message, digital message. So that is the meaning actually of records. And who can seek information? Can anybody seek information? Say, for example, one of your students actually applies to your principal, seeking actually what is the salary of our botany lecturer. If he seeks, should your principal give information? What is actually the salary of our actually HODs? What is the salary actually of our fresh recruits? What is the salary actually of clerks and attendants? He seeks. Should that information be given? He is the student. Okay, forget. You say, for example, you require some information. You do actually for promotion, and promotion is not given to you. But other contemporaries have been given. You're heartburn. You because heartbroken because all others have got the promotion. You are still not been able to get it. And if you approach, they are not actually giving any information. Look, here comes into handy. You simply ask who are the people actually who have been promoted and on what criteria they have been promoted. Are there any person actually having this criteria not promoted? These questions you ask under RTA, your department. Your department has to give information within 30 days. And if the information given actually is against the law, you file actually one case. Within a couple of months, I'll tell you, court will order that you should actually be given promotion, without which, after giving promotion, inform us. Otherwise, contempt proceedings will be moved against you. Look, this is the power actually of law and the courts. And this is how actually RTA helps actually in seeking the enforcement of it. So this is right information. Right information is not just taking some information in the department. So they can also inspect them. I believe. For example, I apply to your college and I ask, I want to attend the classes of one Ganesh Alavandi. What is your subject, sir? Dr. Ganesh Alavandi. What is your subject, sir? Unmuted, sir, tell me.
Sir, mine is chemistry, sir.
Chemistry, okay.
Yeah.
So I would like to simply apply to your principal or department. I would like to come and actually sit in the chemistry class of Ganesh Alavandi.
Yes.
What the principal should do? No, then he will ask me, are you a chemistry professor? No, I would say, no, sir, I am not a chemistry professor. I teach law and I don't know anything about actually chemistry. But why do you want to come? He says. No, I would say, I am a citizen, I want to come. Should he allow me to come and sit in a class under RTA? I am just asking you, tell me whatever you know. Will you allow me to come and sit in your class, sir? No, legally speaking. Would you like to allow me to come and sit in a class? Certainly, many of the teachers wouldn't like that. Isn't it, madam? Madam Savita ji, will you allow? You don't allow. Padma Lata ji. And you don't allow that easily, isn't it? Why should you come and sit? Similarly, a person asked, right? It was not chemistry like Ganesh. It was a political science actually professor. And one person actually asked, I would like to come and actually sit in the class. I was actually, taken a class actually on RTA for the principals of government colleges. There, one of the principals actually told me, sir, look, this is it. A person actually is asking, applied actually under RTA, that he wants to come and actually sit in a political science class. So therefore, should I allow or not? He asked me. Then under RTA, it is not just, I'll tell you, seeking information, getting the information, but also it includes what is known as the inspection actually of the things. So you can inspect as well as actually also seek the information. Okay, that is one thing. So then he asked me whether actually he can come to the class. I said, under RTA, if he has actually paid 10 rupees, you must allow him. So you must allow and come and sit. But how does he know that actually I'm teaching the subject actually accurately, or I'm simply in fact actually bluffing something? So actually I have not come here to test whether actually Ganesh knows chemistry or not. I am coming and sitting in his class, whether he engages one full class for the salary that is paid. Because who is paying your salary? The government is paying the salary. I am actually paying actually by way of tax. So it's my money. Therefore, I would like to know actually how my money is spent. So therefore, I have the right to come and actually sit in a class. But there are certain conditions attached. Certain conditions attached where I can't simply barge into any of the classes. I must take the permission of the teacher. If he allows, I must go. If he doesn't allow, he must give the reason why he should not allow. See, if it is done, I'll tell you, with regard to all public servants, it is something extraordinary, I'll tell you. Because, everybody will be scared and everyone actually have to do his duty properly. And say, for example, otherwise, only your heads of the department should come and actually inspect. I don't think actually that would be a very good kind of inspection, because hardly they can do it. So 140 crore people actually have the right to in fact inspect any of the work actually of any of the public servant under RTA, right? Look at actually the kind of actually enforcement of administration. So this is one thing, but it cannot be allowed to be misused. That is a different thing altogether. And going further, third-party information. For example, you submit your actually annual income tax returns to income tax department, isn't it? Can I actually apply to the income tax department, ask your income tax returns? I'm asking a very simple question. Your income tax returns, your income, your expenditure, and tax deductions, and the total actually amount to be taxed, these details, can I seek it actually from income tax department? So under RTI, I cannot because of the single reason. It is your personal information. It is your personal information. One minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. Please, I'll just 1 minute. I'm extremely sorry. This is the problem actually with online classes. People actually will come and disturb, right? Okay. So this is the private information. Say for example, I had a public class, right? That this particular person actually has filed wrong income tax returns. Yes, hidden lot of actually income. If I could actually show your income tax returns, I can get it. I can get it. And I use their income tax returns as an evidence tomorrow by filing a case that he has not actually filed his income tax properly. So I'll tell you, this can solve all those people, I'll tell you, who are not declaring their incomes properly. It runs into thousands of crores, I'll tell you, not hundreds of crores, thousands of crores, I'll tell you. If thousands of crores actually comes to the government, I'll tell you, the services to the ordinary people actually from the government will be much, much better. Anyway, this is what information be that. And the question is, who can actually seek information? Can anybody come? A school going kid, can it actually go and seek information actually in a department? Say, ninth standard student actually come to your office and says, uncle, I want this information. Take 10 rupees, take this application, give me information. If that ninth standard student says, will you give the information, entertain the application? This is what exactly section 3 says. Every citizen has the right. So the question is whether that actually ninth standard student actually is a citizen or not. He is indeed a citizen, I tell you. Every child born to an Indian citizen is a citizen, whatever may be the age. Because you might ask me, sir, just born babies or 1 month or 1 year old babies, why actually they should be given this right? You know how much money we are spending actually on all those people. For marriage, I'll tell you, my marriage was Shadi Bhagya to Samadhi Bhagya. We are giving so much of money, I'll tell you. Hundreds and thousands of crores we are spending. Whose money it is? If someone is getting married, some money is given. Whose money it is? It is not Prime Minister's money or Chief Minister's money, it's our money. From 4th standard, from age 6 to 14, everyone is free education. Whose money it is? A busy uta, afternoon, cycle, clothing, and motte, one egg every day afternoon. Look at actually all these things. Who is paying for this? We are paying it. Whether egg is given or not given, whether actually, you see, government of Karnataka actually is giving shoes, socks, etc. Everything actually they are giving. But it ran out of money. They said this year we only give shoes. Next year we'll give socks, they said. It looks so ridiculous, Luckily, they did not say this year we'll give actually left leg shoes and next year we'll give the right leg shoes. It looks ridiculous, right? But whose money it is? I have every right to ask. A baby is just born. To that mother, government of India and government of Karnataka have spent a lot of money. Prenatal, perinatal, postnatal, government money, right? And all those costly equipment, medicine, free of cost it is given. I should know whether actually this money has been properly spent or not. Therefore, a just born child also through somebody can seek information whether my mother has been given all vitamins when she was actually carrying me in her womb. It can seek information actually through somebody, and somebody has to give that information. If the doctor actually giving this money to the pregnant lady, if he himself actually swallowed it, then I'll tell he is accountable for it. I think now we are trying to understand how important actually this Right to Information Act actually is. Okay, this is about actually all people of any age, they can actually seek information. And it is easy that you can apply and seek the information, etc. Because it came into existence in 2005. Since 2005, I've been actually talking and discussing and actually delivering lectures on this. I think I must have actually spoken to not less than 25 to 30,000 people actually across India on RTA. And everybody enjoys. It's wonderful piece of legislation, that, this, and all they say. But when you apply, even for example, if I apply to your own college, you think actually all the information is ready to give me. If you don't give me information within 30 days, you will be fined 250 rupees per day. and subject to a maximum actually of 25,000 rupees. Not only that, there could be a departmental inquiry against you. So that is why the Act also provides every public authority must actually have the information properly stored. That is why Section 4(1)(a) and B, they are very important. Section 4(1)(a), it says, every public authority shall maintain all its records duly catalogued and indexed. 4 things you must do it. 1, catalog all your documents and index them. Don't worry, because British themselves actually have done it for us. We are continuing it. Thirdly, computerize it. Now, massive scale, I'll tell you, computerization is going on in a massive scale. And some of the departments are fully computerized. And in near future, I'll tell you, most of the department will be fully computerized. Paperless administration is going to be. What is that paperless administration? You don't have to use paper at all. Everything actually fed into the computer in digital form, and it is processed and actually subsequently cleared digitally. So, and lastly, you must actually catalog it, index it, computerize it, and lastly, connect it to network. Once actually your entire records, your office things actually connected to the network, I don't think I need to come to your office to seek any information. I can log in actually into your office ID right here in my home and seek all the information actually from your department. If there are any doubts, I can send a mail, and you can actually, I'll transfer actually the charges through digital payment, and you can actually give the information. So this is what actually has to be done. Otherwise, you can't actually make people go and actually stand in queue in a government hospital, government departments to seek the information, because once everything is digitalized, so information is available simultaneously to any number of people across not just the country, across the globe, right? That's it. So this is public authorities should do it. They should do it actually within 120 days actually after this act coming into existence. Secondly, once you prepare everything, catalog, index, computerize, and connect it to network, you must actually display 17 items in your notice board or in your web page, in your department. What are those 17 items? They are called actually proactive disclosures. Means without being asked, you should actually prepare this and actually display it. Nobody is going to ask you. It is your duty to display this actually 17 kinds actually of information. What are those actually 17 kinds of information? Look, these are the 17 kinds actually, because there are, I leave this actually a PPT because the plenty of information are collected. They'll give it to you. It is not a copyrighted material. When you find time, please actually go through about actually records, etc., etc. I'm just actually giving you what is required for this class, because I have limited time. So these are the 17 items that you must actually have. One is the name and organization, the particulars, functions, and so for example, government first grade college. This is actually the name of it. And below that, you must actually mention the objective, purpose, date of establishment. All these, some of the details you should know it, because when you see a department, many of the departments, their names are so funny. You might wonder why actually such a department should be there at all. You might wonder, isn't it? So there is a purpose. Nobody opens a department because actually they feel like opening it. No, I'll tell you. You see, earlier there was only one department called PWD. And PWD became actually major irrigation, minor irrigation, and highways and Jilla Panchayat. One department actually became 4 or 5 departments, because actually there was so much work they had to divide it. There was only food and civil supplies was there. Food department had actually one sugar department ministry. And sugar department actually wants to create actually one more jaggery department, perhaps I'll tell you. There will be a minister for jaggery. Because these days, jaggery and sugar actually are not famous for their sugar content, the byproduct of it, alcohol, right? So they are important for that. There is a huge kind of actually demand for sugar ministry, because actually sugar involves actually other kinds of sugars also, right? So like that, you will have to know the reasons why a particular department has. And mission, for example, if I ask you, when your department actually was opened, do you remember actually when your department or your college started? Now, I go to many of the government servants come. When I ask this question, they'll be looking at each other's face. When our department started, because they'll not be knowing themselves actually when the department started. I was actually addressing a group of actually forest officers where one forest, range officer, a lady, I asked when actually the department started. You know what she said? Forest department is as old as forest, she said. My goodness, your department is as old as forest. I agree. Your office in this particular area, when it started? I don't know, sir. How do I know? I'll ask my department. My goodness, madam, since how long you have been working here? I asked. Said, I've been working here since 15 years. 15 years, I'll tell you, this department is feeding you. Should you not know when your bloody department in this area started? Why should I know it? My goodness, I'll tell you, this is a very bad thing. Our public servants, I'll tell you, why should I know when my department started? These people do not come to serve. These people actually come to, in fact, actually hang on to the department actually to make money. So therefore, what I'm trying to say is when you become part of the department, you are the department, you need to know something about it, right? Not that by that you will become actually will make the department more efficient, but you will become actually more responsible in the department. One is particular organization. Second, powers and duties of employees. There are plenty of people, their powers and duties you must write, and you will have to disclose it, to put it on the notice board. Procedures and decision making. So, for example, in your department, there are 20 seats and 50 applications come. How will you decide? How will you give admission? You will have to give it actually on merit, or how many on merit, reservation, how many on reservation, and what kind of reservation. Everything is so tomorrow I am an applicant to your department. So I belong to this particular category. So when I come and actually look into your actually notice board, 41B, I can actually make a wonderful guess that whether I would be able to get a seat in a department or not, because I know my category, and for my category, how many seats are there, I know. And whether I stand a chance of getting a seat or not, I know it. Instead of actually bothering you, I can actually decide myself by looking into it. Therefore, this procedure of decision making, you must know it. And everyone who discharges actually a function, under what law and what kind of functions he discharges, everything should be written. Rules, regulations, and instructions, manual of your department, everything actually should be kept ready, either in the digital form or actually in the hard copy form. And statement of categories of the documents. How many categories and how many kinds of documents you have, you must actually categorize it. If you have any consultation arrangement, that you must actually mention it. And you have any kind of statement, board, council, etc., whether you have and who are the members, that you must actually mention that. And directory of officers and how many people actually are working, their names, their designation. Not only that, monthly remuneration they receive, you must write down. So when your students come, oh, my chemistry professor draws 2,20,000 rupees, they must know it. How much salary you draw? Nothing. Why should they know my salary? Means they are also contributing for your salary. They are also taxpayers, I'll tell you, right? If not direct taxpayers, they are indirect taxpayers, right? Therefore, nothing wrong in actually if they know my salary, right? And subsidy programs, budget allocation. You know, your department, how much budget actually has got, you should know it. Similarly, if there is any subsidy, for example, if there are any ex-servicemen, there is a subsidy. A single girl child, there is a subsidy. A physically handicapped, there is a subsidy. And if they belong to a minority group, there is a subsidy. Like that, that you must actually mention. And any particular concession, special concession, anybody gets it, that also you must mention. Besides this, the information in your office, which is held actually digitally, electronically. How much of your information in the college is computerized? How much is not computerized? If I know how much is computerized, I can in fact actually make a kind of inquiry through email instead of actually sending it hard copy. And particulars of facilities. If somebody comes to inspect your college, do they have any facilities to sit, write, drink water, something like that? And most importantly, last but one is the names of the PIOs, Public Information Officers. If you are from college, your principal actually is the Public Information Officer. If you are in university, usually the registrar actually will be the Public Information Officer. And there could be Assistant Public Information Officers if the department is too big. Okay. Besides this, any other actually information. These are the 17 kinds of information. You should compulsorily display it. If you don't display, tell your principal if in your college it is not displayed. Immediately after this program, go and tell your principal, you will be fined up to 25,000 rupees if this information is not displayed. Do it as early as possible. Otherwise, I myself actually will put an application under RTI seeking actually 411B information. And if you don't give actually within 1 month, you will have to pay 25,000 rupees fine. Not only that, there will be a departmental inquiry, because this should have been completed by October 12th, 2005. 2005 itself, actually, this information should have been actually made ready by all the departments. Okay, that's it. And now, public information officers. Who are those public information officers? We don't appoint actually any particular person actually as a public information officer. The person who is responsible with some kind of actually authority in the department will be appointed actually as public information officer. Usually, a gazetted officer actually will be a public. For example, colleges, it is the principal. Schools, it is the headmasters. Something like that. In bank, it is manager. In any other department, actually a gazetted officer, something like that. The question is one more. Under section 5, appointment comes into picture. Say, for example, you are the principal of a college. I seek some information actually of botany department. So the moment actually this application comes to your principal, he doesn't know the entire thing. He will immediately transfer to whom? Your botany HOD, right? He transfers the application. Your botany HOD must actually give all the information within 30 days. If the information is not given, it is not your principal who will be responsible. It is the department HOD, botany HOD will be responsible. Therefore, look at actually section 5, paragraph 4 and 5. So the public information officer may seek the assistance of any officer for discharge of publication. One. Secondly, such officer shall render all assistance. And so, for example, if you chemistry in department information actually is asked by your principal or HOD or whoever it is, Dr. Ganesh must actually give the information. If he fails to give, then your PIO or your principal or the HOD is not responsible. You are going to be responsible. You will have to pay the fine. This is what exactly is the role of him. And I already told, any person actually can seek information, not just an identifiable person. Say, for example, your collegiate department also seek information from the forest department. Forest department can seek information from PWD. PWD can actually seek information from police department. So, though it is said that actually a citizen can actually seek the information, so a department or a legal person is also a person here who can be identified actually as a person. Okay, that is one. Now, how fast you must actually give the information? How fast, right? So, when you seek information, the rules and regulations are very simple. When you seek information, I'll tell you, with 3 important actually points. There is no format, specific format. Your application should be like this one, no, nothing. In any piece of paper, these 3 things you must write. One is your name and address properly. And the name and address actually of the person from whom you are seeking information. And thirdly, what is that actually information? Clearly and categorically you must write. What is the information according to 2G? You will have to in fact actually write what is the information. So that is one. And do you have to give actual reasons why you need information? You don't have to give. Because it is in your information. In a democratic setup, I'll tell you, all the information that is there in the government is your information. Therefore, you can seek the information, do anything you like. Only thing is you have to pay that money. That's it. You don't have to give actually reason why you want that information. And within what time it should be given? There are actually 4 time frameworks for giving. Some information must be given within 24 hours. Some information. There are 2 kinds of information. Any information which is, which is seeking some information where someone's actually freedom is violated, where that person actually is likely to be arrested, etc., or where a person's actually life is under threat. In these 2 cases, information shall be given within 48 hours. Right? In one of the cases, a person actually was retired and applied and he was waiting actually for pensions of retire. Settled. Pension was not actually settled for more than a year. And he writes an RTI application seeking why, what is the hitch actually in my pension papers? Why even after 1 year I have not been able to get it? And this application question came whether actually the answer should be given within 48 hours or 1 month. The Information Commission said this is actually very important because actually it questions and threatens actually his life. For example, if pension is not at all given to a man, he will die without actually food because he survives actually because of his pension amount. If the pension is not given for more than a year, so it is a question actually of life and death. Therefore, it should be disposed of within 48 hours itself. So therefore, it is expanding. And firstly, 48 hours. Secondly, information shall be given within 30 days. Usually, this is the common thing, common kind of actual information. Any information shall be given within 30 days. And third one, actually, some information actually has to be given within 35 days. There are two circumstances where 35 days time is given. One is if you apply your application to a wrong department. Say you have applied seeking information to the agriculture department instead of actually applying it for, say for example, sericulture department. You thought sericulture is also agriculture. You gave the application to agriculture department. But the agriculture department will say, no, it is not my application, it is the sericulture department. Under these circumstances, they must find out if you're wrongly given actually an application to a wrong department. They must, you don't have to worry. They must actually direct it to the right department. For that, 5 days extra should be given. One thing. Second reason why 35 days is to be given is, I give my application not to public information officer, but to assistant public information officer. An assistant public information officer usually will be away from the headquarters or the place where PI was. So for example, the public information officer's office actually is in district headquarters. And one of his office actually is situated actually in one of the taluks. And there is a distance. Instead of actually coming to the district headquarters and giving the application, if it is in the taluk headquarters, I'll tell you, if assistant public information is easily available, you can hand over the application to that person. And he has only two responsibilities. One, to transfer it to the public information officer. Secondly, an appeal actually should be sent to the appellate authority. Only two things. So when the application is given to assistant public information officer, it is 35 days. And the last fourth one, 40 days. What is that actually 40 days? Say I seek information actually of your department, income tax, about your actually income tax filing to the department, income tax department. You know what they do? They say it is private information. Then I would say as an applicant, no, it has some public interest, therefore I want information. You know what they do? They'll give you a notice. Such and such a person is asking your income tax returns. And whether it should be given or not, you give us your consent. So you will be given 10 days time. If you don't respond within 10 days, it is deemed to have been consented. They will give it. If you say no, you don't give it, you must give reasons why you should not give. Right? Because you have declared your income to the government. So what is wrong actually in giving to any particular person? So that is why the 10 days time is given. So it is a notice period where it is given, notice is given to the employee who has to in fact actually provide information. These are the questions. And nextly, it has to be given within the time period. 30 days, you have to collect the information and give it. So for example, you are collecting the information, but you are incapable of actually giving the information within 30 days because it gets delayed, because you are not finding all the information. So for example, it crosses 30 days, 31, 32, 33 days or something like that. If you are giving information, certainly you can give after the last date, but you should not charge. You should give actually free of cost that information. That's it. And not only that, when the person actually is seeking an information in a particular format, you should try to give the information in that format only, but not in all cases, because sometimes actually people ask information in a particular format, but you hold the information in a different format. If you want to convert it, it takes a lot of actually labor, a lot of actually man hours. And those circumstances, you can certainly give the information as you got it, not necessarily. If it doesn't require, then you must actually give the information in the required actually form. This is what is actually called as question disposal. And can there be a oral request question comes into picture? There cannot be any oral request. You will have to give it in writing. You can't orally ask someone to give the information. You have to give it actually in writing. Language, it becomes a problem, I'll tell you. Deliberately, some people actually create. In Karnataka, they write actually in some other language. Maybe Telugu, Tamil, or Malayalam, etc. and say to seek information. This Kannada fellow will say, will reject the application saying that I don't know Malayalam, Tamil, or whatever it is he says. See, at the end of the day, it is not actually language issue that matters. At the end of the day, what matters is you must actually give the information for the purpose of actually clean administration. Therefore, language should not actually be. If I say you should be given actually the local language only, if you say, there could be a person, I'll tell you, who doesn't know the local language, or the document is not in a local language. What will you do? So therefore, language should not actually become a kind of a problem. You must actually sort it out, actually taking care of all these things, right? That's going further. These are the 10 kinds of information, which you are not supposed to give. They are exempted information. They are called exempted information. What are these actually exempted information? Means this information you have, but you don't have to give it, right? And what are they? Look, there are 10 such actually things. Section 8(1)(a) to J, right? First one is information disclosure of which would prejudicially affect the sovereignty integrity of India, security, strategic, scientific, economic interest of the state, relation with foreign state or lead to incitement of an offense. Look, there are various reasons. So you don't have to give the information which is which affects actually our sovereignty and integrity. Or the information, if I give, there will be some kind of actually a problem in the society, galata in the society. Or which is scientific actually or economic interest of the country. So under these circumstances, because of these reasons, information need not be given. The only thing is you must actually prove that, say that if the information is given, I'm going to compromise actually the security of my state and the sovereignty of my state. If that is the case, it need not be given first. Secondly, if the court directly prohibits, stating that certain information should not be given to anybody till further orders, you are not supposed to. So it's the court order. And it's only in extreme cases, because every department actually will have cases, but not this kind of cases where the court will say, don't give the information. If at all, if the court says, you must do it, otherwise it becomes actually contempt of court. And thirdly, some information in certain places which take place should not be given, because that information, if required by the public, will be given by somebody else. Say, for example, our parliamentary proceedings, our legislative proceedings, whatever that actually happens inside the parliament, I'll tell you, it has to be shared only by the parliament itself. You as a visitor or a person go and videotape it in WhatsApp, in your mobile, and subsequently come and actually, live stream it, you will be responsible, because what is to be given, what is not to be given until is to be decided by the House. You don't have the power to do it. So this is what exactly is called the privileges actually of our legislature. And nextly, information, some confidential information, very confidential, like commercial confidence, trade secrets, or intellectual property. For example, you are a scientist, you are inventing something. You have taken actually IPR on that, right? You have an IPR on that particular property. And if someone actually applies to the intellectual property office, seeking the formula that you have invented, on which actually you have taken the intellectual property right, it cannot be done. By paying 10 rupees, you can't actually take the formula which you have created by spending actually lots of money and time over. It is to be patented and sold so that actually you can make money. It cannot be given free of cost, right? That's it. And next, information available person, fiduciary relationship. Fiduciary relationship here means a relationship of trust and confidence. Where with certain people you can't lie. One, when you go to your doctor, will you ever lie about your disease? If you lie, it is to your disadvantage. If you go to the doctor, you must say, I am having that problem, this problem, etc., etc. Then subsequently, he will actually give a medicine for your well-being. And another person actually is lawyer. When the client goes, he has to tell the lawyer that actually that he has committed an offense, he has committed certain wrongs, etc. Therefore, he needs actual protection. So when these people go and actually talk, truth before certain actually people, that is called actually what is actually called future relationship. Those people should not actually reveal this particular information. So, for example, you are a government college lecturer. You would go to your government hospital, say for example, thrice a week for some kind of treatment. Since it's a government hospital, I'll tell you, when you go and actually take some treatment, everything is recorded, isn't it? I applied to the government hospital asking about the health issues or health records actually of a particular lecturer who works actually in a government department. Should the hospital give this information? The question comes, should the hospital give this information? Because hospital is a public authority and it's spending actually public money. You go to the department, every problem of yours is recorded. Should I be given or not? This is privacy. This is privacy. I'll tell you. But this is exactly what is actually called a fiduciary relationship, right? So this information cannot be given at all. Say you value the papers actually of chemistry in your university, and say imagine there is a very poor result in the department in the university in chemistry papers. You know, the revolted students actually, or participating students, because they failed in chemistry. They ask actually for the name and address of the people, all the people who valued chemistry papers. Should it be given? Should it be given? If it
No,
is
sir.
given, what
No,
happens?
sir.
If you give it, they'll come and attack you. Isn't it? It cannot be. If they have any problem, let them actually give a complaint to the university. Let the university check it. If you have done anything wrong, university will give permission, not actually a student who should give the permission. Okay. So this is what is actually called fiduciary relationship. Fiduciary relationship, they should not actually reveal this information. Like, banker, teacher, receivers, parent, all of them actually come under this one. This is one. Next line. Any information that you receive from the foreign governments, you should not actually give it. Because many of the governments which are actually very friendly with the government of India, they give actually as information saying that there is a likelihood of terrorist attacks in next 15 days, etc. They'll give actually some useful information from their actual intelligence service. The government every day receives it. But I can't actually under RTA seek the information because it's sensitive. Any information which endangers somebody's life, if I give information, somebody's life will be endangered. So, for example, if I ever reveal that such and such a person actually keeps actually 10 crore rupees cash in his house, I'll tell you, I'm inviting actually plenty of problem for him. If I say in that house there is 10 crore rupees, so any robber, dacoit actually will certainly make a plan. I'm opening actually some kind of problem for you by revealing your actually status quo. Therefore, such information should not be given. Any information which impedes the process of investigation. If something is being investigated, and regarding investigation, till it is complete, it should not be. And cabinet decisions you can give, deliberations you cannot give, right? Similarly, very, very personal information. Personal information. Weekends, what you go and which brand of cigarette you smoke and what you drink. These are all very personal, I tell you. There's no rule that actually a teacher should not smoke or drink. Only thing is, in public places, should not do it, right? That's it. So this is very personal information that should not actually be asked. And lastly, whatever, for example, during session, those ministers and the MLAs will be seeking a lot of information from you. And they seek the information so that actually when session is going on, use that information actually in debates there. So here is the question, whatever information you give it to the house, either parliament or state legislature, such information shall be given to all the persons actually who see, right? So this is about the 10 exemptions, 10 exemptions. And and one more thing, I'll just actually conclude by saying that, now there are certain rules. When you are seeking information, Government of Karnataka rule says your application shall not exceed 150 words. Government of India rules say whenever you apply actually the same thing to the government, central government departments, your application should not exceed 250 words. Means anything that you want to ask it actually within 250 words. If you cross 250 words, you know what they should do? They should actually only consider 150 words in Karnataka, central government 250 words. Beyond that, what is there? For that, you should apply a fresh application. You should come to the department, it's also fresh application. That is one thing. And secondly, all BPL card holders, they do not have to have pay application fees. 10 rupees is the application fees. They don't have to pay. And 100 pages of information will tell you should be given free of cost. 100 page A4 size. Information should be given to them free of cost. One thing. And if you are a BPL card holder, you should not actually charge any money. And you should be given actually 100 sheets of A4 size information free. For not BPL card holders, 10 rupees application fees you have to pay. And per page, A4 size page, you will have to pay fees of rupees 2 per page. 2 per page. So for example, if it is a engineer drawing, it will be as big as me and as tall as me. So huge sheets. If you want to, if they seek such information, actual cost for taking the copy should be charged, and they should actually ask for that. Okay, that is about this. And going further, right? The information actually shall be given within 30 days. If he is not given 30 days, you can actually within next 30 days must go in appeal. Today you apply, 30th of that month, first you apply, 30th of the month actually must give information. If it doesn't give actually within 30th information, from that 30th to the next 29th, you can actually go within 1 month, 30 days, you must actually go in appeal. If you don't go in appeal within 3 months and you are right to go in appeal, actually gets cancelled. So within 30 days. And once you go within 30 days, from there you can actually seek information. And Act actually says they must also decide within 45 days, right? If they decide within 40 days, next 30 days you must actually go to the court. So therefore, 30 days for seeking information. Next 30 days actually for going for the first appellate authority. Within next actually 30 days, appeal should actually lie. And beyond that, it cannot actually lie. That's it. And not only that, the information that is to be given should be given within actually 30 days. And if you are in a position that you can't actually make out the application, you can seek actually clarification. And you receive an application which belongs to some other department. Within 5 days, you must actually transfer the application to that department. Say your education department, an application of excise department comes to you. What you should do? You can't throw it into dustbin. Within 5 days, you should be transferred to whom? Excise department. And you must actually tell this applicant that your department, your application has been dispatched or redirected to the second department. For further thing, you're going to actually ask information from the university. Look, this is in very brief what is known as RTA. And this act has been so useful for a democratic actually nation like ours. And I would still actually say this is a very important piece of legislation. Though it is the latest actually High Court and this is Supreme Court decision, many provisions have been diluted because Supreme Court itself did not want to give the information because someone actually asked the Supreme Court judges in assets and liabilities. The Supreme Court judges said nothing doing, we are not going to give. Then he went in appeal where to Information Commission. Information Commission said, no, you are not a public servant, you should give it. So the Supreme Court judges got terribly wild. What is this nonsense these people are saying? You know, you believe it or not, when the Information Commission gives the decision, next appeal from Information Commission will be High Court only. So the Parliament, when this question actually was asked, then immediately when it is not given, I'll tell you, they in Supreme Court actually, when they received a negative actually kind of a judgment, they went in appeal to High Court. Imagine that the Supreme Court took a case in appeal to High Court of Delhi. Delhi High Court also said the same thing. You are a public servant, so you must actually submit assets and liabilities. And when went to division bench, they said not only you should actually give your assets and liabilities, but also the details of it should be given. So by the time all the Supreme Court judges actually had, uploaded their assets and liabilities. So this is in brief how important it is, including the judges. It binds all and everyone. So as a consequence of which, so it is universal applicable law. But I've been actually watching it. I'm finding it that of late actually this act has become too diluted because Supreme Court itself actually has given a couple of decisions which have diluted actually the stringent actual provisions of this particular act. I think I must stop here because you have a break now. What time you have break? 3:15, right?
Sir, 3:15 to
break, no?
3:45, sir. Yes, sir.
3:45 or 3:15? It's
3:45, we have to 3:45, sir.
No, you will have to come back by 3:45.
Yes, sir. You again, the session has to start at 3:45.
You will have a break actually of 30 minutes, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Exactly, sir.
You badly need a break, I think, right? Go have a cup of tea and come back at 3:45. We'll take up actually another topic and we'll discuss. Okay? Thank you.
Yes, sir. Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
Meet again.
Thank you,
Yes, sir.
sir.
Yes, sir. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.